Everyone praying for peace. Don't do it. But I don't want peace. I don't want to get I know we gonna do something. World rise and justice. And you're tired of getting shot in the street. World rise and justice. Get your home. Everyone asking for peace. We don't need peace. This is real street news. This is ill. Peep the clues. Jack and Jill went up the hill and got robbed by monster Jews. Mama talk, drinking the blood of the youth. Hill Street blues, allowed to kill you. Cain and Abel murders and two. Painted pictures of biblical scripture tattoos. 42 negative confessions thrown out of the courtroom. Who governs the planetary lessons from heavenly body down to molecules? This is what we must do to raise the chosen few and trust in us family crest. Blood test, the proof is in the pedigree. Remember, only the indigenous can be original Asiatic carbon royalty. Now lost all in humanity. We are the creators, players, and shapers. Time construct planetary spaces. Harmonic, astronomical, Masonic monument makers. Mound builders and uncounted galactic places. Celestial bodies, comic phenotypes, angelic spacemen. This is chess we playing, and Armageddon slaying savage enslavement. The concrete jungle trying to turn gods to cavemen.
Yeah, man. That was fire, man. That was fire, man. You know what? On some real shit, man, you know, we live right now, man. We live on EyeGod TV, live from planet Earth, live to the universe, straight through the Milky Way. Here we are, you know what I mean? On a platform where we're going to give it to you real. We're going to give it to you the truth, man, you know? And it's unbiased, straight to the point, and understandable to those who are willing to understand, you know what I mean? And I want to just say right now, and I want to introduce to you right now, a long-time friend of mine, first of all, a very good friend of mine, a brother of mine, first and foremost. Secondly, a highly, highly studied, you know, I don't want to use the word master, but we just want to say a highly studied, highly educated man in the arts, in the mysteries, you know, and really just a good dude, a good brother, a good heart, person with a good heart, you know, someone that's always been there for me personally when I ever needed someone, even when I didn't, was just always there for me and always knew that, you know what I mean? Just a real genuine person. But for those who don't know, my man, my guy, JG, Tamu, Tamu's father time, the yellow hair, the healing, the truth, the God himself. Tamu's my brother, man. How we doing, man? How you doing, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great this evening, man. You know, I appreciate all the love, the support you giving me out here. You making me feel like Superman, you know.
Man, you know, I mean, it's definitely justified, and it's really coming from just experience, you know. And that's the whole thing with this platform. It's going to be all about experience and speaking from experience. There's going to be none of that, you know, none of that fantasy, man. You know what I mean? And with you, I've had the experience, pause, you know, and it's always been real and always been genuine and true, man. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is the point now to where it's especially with things going on in the world, the pandemics and the scare tactics and the things that go on, man. It's time for genuine people to come out, man, and give people that comfort and give people that truth, man, so they can empower themselves, man, at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You know? And, you know, just wanted to, you know, let's just start off, you know, with going, you know, let's just find out who, you know, I said many names. There was many names in that introduction, you know, and every name was genuine to me, you know, and just in my mind and just stuck in my mind. Name, you know how you have your own names for people and names they have for themselves, but, you know, a meaning behind them, man. But, you know, just let us know, you know, who you are, how you came up, man, where you from originally, man, and, you know, how all this got started.
Well, as they say, telephone, it's 3:30. I want to give you directions home. I bet it wouldn't be too long. I bet it won't be too long. So I'm from Youngstown originally, born and raised. Started out living out on the south side of Youngstown. Then we moved to the north side of Youngstown right after kindergarten. Um, and I come from a family of very church-oriented people. My father was a musician. Growing up in school, him and his buddies, you know, they had bands and little groups, and you know, I can remember being from about 3.5, maybe 4, up to maybe about 7 years old. He would go over onto the east side to his partner Hosey's place, and they would jam out. You know, he would play the drums, or the saxophone, and you know, I mean, he had a lot of talent, you know, and so and then my mom, she used to sing in the choir and stuff like that. We grew up, you know, going to church and all of that, you know. So I got involved in music in grade school, started playing trombone all the way up to my junior high years. I started playing tuba, played tuba all through high school, played in the marching band, concert band, you know. In junior high, well, let me go back up just a little bit. So in grade school, about 5th grade, I got into a rap group called Code and Effect, right? So Code and Effect was a compilation.
Yeah, I like that.
Compilation. It was about 8. It was almost 8 females and 3 males.
Wow. Okay. Now
So
female MCs.
oh yeah, female MCs, absolutely. So to me and my one partner, Chucky, rest in peace, Leon. You know, we was the beatboxers, and so we pretty much was the ones that held the beat, but we also rap. Well, in the group, I was a beatboxer at first, and then I was listening to everybody rapping and rapping. So come sixth grade, over the summer of 5th grade, you know, hip hop was a love of mine, of course, you know.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know,
we talking about the 80s? We talking about the 80s or the early 90s?
Yeah, we talking about the 80s, definitely 80s, like 84, 85, 86. I got into junior high, 88. Yeah, 88. So, my 6th grade year, I got into the group by freestyling. I was the only person that entered the group freestyling. Everybody else had written raps. They was practicing.
Oh, really? Hey, you know what? You know what? A long time ago, you know, at that time, a lot of people, you know, you might have had your like 2 or 3 raps. You know what I'm saying? That you carried, you know, that you carried in your thoughts everywhere you went. You know what I mean? So if somebody stepped to you, you ready to give a dart. You ready to throw a dart off. You know. Yeah. So you saying that what you was bringing to the group was the, you know, the ability to be able to come right off the top. You know, genuine ideas.
Yep.
Genuine ideas, you know, randomly.
Yeah. So one day it started like this. They was practicing, and in this particular song they was doing, I wanted to rap. They didn't know last year, they didn't know the year before that I could rap, you know. So I was like, I told them, I was like, I want to rap on this song. And they was like, you don't rap? And I was like, yes, I do. I do more than beatbox. And then so I told Chucky, I was like, beatbox. And I was like, I'll freestyle. And they was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm a freestyle. So yeah, I never forget that. Freestyle off the dome. They was like, immediately, they was like, that's what's up, you in, you know. So
Yeah. Now hold on 1 second. I don't want to cut you off. I want to cut you off. But 1 second, like, give me your, give us a little bit of what inspired you musically to be able to, to want to, to have that skill to freestyle, first of
oh
all,
man,
beatboxing,
uh,
beatboxing, first of all, because we know like the Fat Boys and the Human Beatbox,
and
things like
Dougie
that,
Fresh,
give us a little some of that.
yeah, and Just Ice, and so for me, the
What was
what made
inspiring
me
you
want,
back then?
huh?
What was inspiring you back then,
Well, what made me want to freestyle was in all honesty, like at that time I was listening to Rakim, I was listening to Big Daddy Kane, and
Speaking of Big
that's what,
Daddy Kane, I mean, the
yeah,
hands, it's Chuck, yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah, it's
that's what
real right
made
now.
me want to come off the dome.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And
Shout out to Big Daddy Kane, for real. No doubt.
shout out to Rakim and Big Daddy Kane.
Rock
So,
him Allah. Definitely rock him Allah,
then, seventh grade came, and me and Chucky, we got a little deeper into hip hop. So he introduced me to a dude named Ralph, MCR. He was a producer. He was older, and he was in high school at the time. And so he took me over to Ralph's studio, and at first it was just Chucky, recording, and we had wrote a rap together. And so that's why he was bringing me to the studio so I could hear it be recorded. So Ralph, he told Ralph, he was like, this the dude to help me write that rap, and Ralph was like, oh yeah, you rap? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. He was like, let me hear you spit something. And so I never forget this. So he put on a sample, right?
Yeah.
And I never forget this. This is the first time I heard somebody use that sample to go.
Oh yeah. Right.
I saw him take that original record and cut it, loop it, like sample it way back then on a drum machine, right? Then he put it on the keyboard. He sent it over to the keyboard, and then he added the drums and everything to it. And so I rapped. I think I did about 8 bars. And he was like, man, you got to come over. He's like, he was like, I'm putting some people together. I use like, I produce and everything like that. So he was like, it's a talent show coming up. And he said, you might be able to get involved if you're good enough. And that was like, for me, challenge, like what? Like, talent show? Like, okay. So by going to Ralph's studio, I ended up meeting one of Youngstown legendary female artists, a good friend of mine, who go by the name of Lady C. Shout out to Lady C. What's up, Shonda?
Yeah, shout out to Lady C. Definitely.
Wait,
Hold on a second. Let's give him something. Hold on. Now, this is all taking place where?
This is all on the north side. On the north side of Youngstown.
This is let's make it clear to everybody. This is Youngstown, Ohio. The north side of Youngstown, Ohio. Yep. This is where all this is taking place. In case anyone was wondering, this is where it's all taking place. Shout out to Lady C. Definitely.
Yeah. And it was a couple other dudes that was rapping around that same time, and I was kind of quiet about it.
Yeah. Okay. You wasn't really giving it to everybody, but you were on your own time. You was putting rhymes together.
Yeah, I was putting it in. And my partner Chucky, he was real. At that time, he was a real influence of pushing me to keep rapping. We used to
shout out to him for that, definitely.
Yeah, we used to put dance steps together and stuff like that, and so we used to do it all. You know how you used to do back in the day.
Yeah, straight up doing the kid play, get down.
What happened was 8th grade come around. No, this was the same year. So 7th grade, the Steubenville variety show come up, and we was everybody that was in, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of the people that was in going to Ralph's to record was going to be involved in Steubenville variety show. Well, that's how I met Lady C.
Okay.
Coming home from school, I'm coming home from school one day. Actually, me and Chucky was walking home from football practice, and she stayed on Ohio Street. And we used to be able to walk through this path, coming down Crandall, and then you would be able to hit the drive-through store on Elm Street, walk down Elm Street to Florencedale to Bryson. That's where I stayed on Bryson.
In Youngstown.
Yeah, Youngstown. So
okay.
He introduced me to Lady C because she was outside when she was actually banging her music, Brick House. She was banging her music, and she saw Chucky and was like, "Yo, Leon, what's up?" And she came downstairs and he introduced me to her, and that's the rest is history. So
yeah.
So what happened was I ended up missing a historical moment because my parents didn't let me go to the talent show, the variety show.
Now was it because now you said before about the religious black background? Was it because
it wasn't that it wasn't that they I think it was more so they just didn't really know that that's what I was into and I was serious about it. They
didn't know that was one of your talents at the time.
They really they didn't know it like that.
You did say you weren't really putting it out there. You was kind of just putting it together on your own time. So even your parents even didn't know at the time.
Yeah, I mean because from the time I was young, but 4 or 5 years old, I could memorize a song like Michael Jackson. I never forget when Off the Wall came out.
Right.
78. I was doing all the dances to the videos and all of that, so.
Yeah, that's right. I know, man. I used to have moments. I remember being at my grandmother's house back in the day growing up, and all my aunties and everybody be around, they'd turn on Michael Jackson and they'd be dancing in the middle of the floor and all that.
Right.
So, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, facts.
So everybody in the family, they knew that I used to, sing and, do raps that would, and dance and all of that. They knew that. They knew I was talented, but they just didn't know that I was serious about rapping. I was break dancing and all of that. So when so the talent show comes and I couldn't be involved. Chucky goes, Lady C goes, and somebody else goes as well. MCR goes. And so what ended up happening was I missed meeting and seeing the RZA perform. Back then he was known as Prince Raheem.
Wait. Let's back up for a second. Now, did you know ahead of time that, first of all, if anybody that knows, shout out to the RZA, shout out to, the Wu-Tang, the whole movement, let's back that up a little bit. Was there, at this time, was it known that he was showing up? Or
not
was
like
it kind of
that.
like?
Nope. Not till after the fact that I know who he was. And then,
so at this point, it's just a bunch of MCs at the spot.
Yeah, they well, like I said, I didn't go, but I missed that performance. So the people that was there was the RZA and D-Shot,
oh,
E40, and the Click.
Oh, wait a minute. Shout out to the Click. Shout out to E40. Yo, wait. Hold on. We talking about
it's like 88.
A time when we didn't even know East and West Coast was even moving like that, let alone be somewhere in Ohio, doing something like this. And like E40, shout out to E40, shout out to the Click, shout out to D-Shot, Sugar T. Oh, man, the Hip Museum, my man. Oh, man. Yo, that's big, man. Now, you definitely knew they was gonna be in the building.
Yeah, so
that was definitely on the flyer.
Yeah. Now, what was crazy about that though was what was crazy about that was, you know, like a year or two after that, they put out D Shot's CD, The Under.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
be on the under. If I give them yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man,
So,
man. You taking me back right now. Yeah, shout out to D Shop, baby. 40,
so,
the whole nine, man. Yeah, definitely.
so yeah, you know, I've been doing this. I've been doing this thing a long time. And then in high
Be
school, I did a
legit.
couple
Shout out to
talent
be
shows.
legit.
I did a couple talent shows. You know, some of the people that I grew up with, you know, they was in dance groups and stuff like that. Like, so you know, I've always been surrounded by talented people. You know, and so what? My ninth grade year, one of my neighbors moved onto the block, and they didn't know that a lot of them didn't know that I rap. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm rapping one day, and he say to me, he was like, "You can't rap," and I was like, "I'll rap you under the table," you know. And he was like, "Well, what's up?" I was like, "What? You want to battle? Let's battle. 3 days. Let's battle. 3 days from now, we gonna battle. We gonna meet right here and battle."
Oh, so you gave him you gave him a say like, all right, look, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay. The place and
and then
time.
what was crazy was, and somehow we ended up not battling. And then we took the verses that we was getting ready to use to battle each other and made our first song.
Wait. So it turned out. So what? So he was there. So his shit. So obviously his rhymes was fire.
Yeah, we liked the way
For you to want to collaborate it, you know, instead of just destroying him, you must have felt like, all right, you know, it must have been good. Way, you know what? Let's go in the lab with this.
Yeah, we did. You know, it was like, I don't know how it happened. I can't remember exactly how it happened that we didn't battle, but we, like I said, we ended up taking them songs, and so we started writing raps and stuff like that. And
so what, you and him became a group?
Yeah, we became a duo. We you know, we became a group called the Dogs. And at that time, what was crazy was, at that time, there was a group out of Miami called the Dogs.
Mm.
They used to do they was down with DJ Magic Mike and them.
Shout out DJ Magic Mike, definitely.
Yeah, so they was like, you know, they was like 95 South, and you know, whoop,
Oh yeah.
Whoop. I think one of the members of the Dogs actually became one of the members of that group that, you know, that put out Whoop, There It Is. I'm not exactly sure. I might be wrong.
Shout out to 95. Shout out to 95 South though, for real, man. Because back then, man, we were listening to so much hard music, pause. You know what I mean? To where it was like that made us see what the girls really had. That type of joint come on. Now we can. All right, ladies. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead, man. Yeah.
So then here's the crazy part, because so like somehow we met this dude. I met this dude who, he was listening to I can't remember exactly how it happened, but somehow he heard us rapping. And he was like, my cousin gonna be at this spot. Why don't you come over? And so we went over to, oh, I know what it was. Okay, we went to a party, and the dude that was DJing, I went over there and I asked him, I said, "You mind if me and my partner rap? We rap, you know?" And he was like, "Nah." So he went and he hooked his mics up, another mic up, and he was like, "Y'all got something to put on, or you know, y'all got a tape or what?" And he was like, I was like, "Nah, we don't have a tape, but you could put on an instrumental, you know, find an instrumental." And so
And at this time, you already fluent in the freestyles.
Yeah. And
So you
so he
prepared.
put
So you're
on,
prepared. You like, yo, just throw a beat
oh
on
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
I had written and freestyle, you know. And so my partner, he was like, go ahead and start it off, you know, go ahead and freestyle, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna come in with the next rap. So that's kind of how it happened. And then after the party was over, he introduced himself and he was like, yo, I'm Ira, and I like what y'all doing, you know, why don't you come over to my cousin's house? Not knowing that he had cousins already who was rapping and stuff like that. So that's who got him into it, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
So we went over to his cousin's house over on the south side, and that's when we started. We had a bunch of I remember bringing the One Nation Under a Groove, the extended version, because it had a long,
okay.
it had that long, and I remember that we rapped over that. We rapped over Atomic Dog, the extended version of Atomic Dog. Anything that had any long instrumental music, we was rapping over it.
Yeah. The break beats.
Yeah, the beat break. So then it just kind of grew. We from like 10th grade, you know, and at the same time, it's funny because I can remember 11th grade when we did our first performance in front of the school. We did a Rest in Peace song, but it was just kind of crazy because the way we gelled. So it's funny because we ended up.
Y'all do the Rest in Peace song?
Well, the Rest in Peace song came about because it was so many people that was dying, that was teenagers, you know. I never forget. So 7th grade year.
In Youngstown at the time.
Yeah, in Youngstown. It started with one of my good friends, Charles Mills, rest in peace, Charles Mills. He was killed up in the projects up in Briar Hill in his truck, in his van. And you know, it was like once he passed, once he got killed, it was like a series of a string of murders that just kept going and going and going and going. And you know, by my senior year, we had my senior year we did the Rest in Peace song. We did a remix to our original version of it, which we did off the Juicy beat.
What? Yeah, okay.
And it's crazy because I never forget this. When me and my partner went in the studio, and when we went in the studio and recorded that, we knew it was hot. You know. And that summer, we recorded that in the fall. I know we recorded that in the spring, and that summer, Biggie Smalls dropped.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Juicy wasn't out yet, or it was out?
No, the song, the Juicy wasn't out. No, Juicy wasn't out yet. Not by Biggie Smalls, no.
So you ripped over that sample before B.I.G.
Before they did, yeah. And I can't front, it was hotter. The sample we took, because we took about 4 different samples. We took the beat break, we took a part where she's singing, we took that run, and you know, the main.
So we're not saying, so let's make that clear. Let's make that clear. We're not saying the exact same beat that Biggie rapped on was already made once before. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is a sample of the juice of what y'all know as the Juicy. You know what I mean? Was used at the time. Yeah, okay.
From the original song from M2Me.
Yeah, from the original. Shout out to M2Me. Yeah, shout out to M2Me.
And so, you know, we got a lot of support from that track because we also had what do you call it? Them real flyers of paper. You know, they was long reams, where you know you could get them printed out. Well, we had a
Right.
bunch of
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
We
Right.
had
Right.
all the names of people who had died in the city at that point who was schoolmates, because it didn't matter, you know, what side of town you lived on. Youngstown's so small, everybody knew everybody for the most part, you know,
Right.
either
Exactly.
through family, sports, or just growing up together in school, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So you know, that wasn't the only track that happened with, you know, like I remember when I remember when DJ Quick put out I mean not DJ Quick
Shout out to DJ Quick. That all day.
What you call it? Too Short put out Don't Eat the Pussy. And he used that sound because at that time him and DJ Pooh was beefing. And so when they dropped that, we had used that same beat as well.
Shout out to DJ Pooh too. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, you know what? You know, and you did say DJ Quick too. And DJ Quick did have a joint like that too. I remember that. I don't want to
Maybe it was. I might have the two confused. It probably was DJ Quick and not Too Short.
About that joint? You talking about that joint? I don't want to eat it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to DJ Quick. Yeah, that was, man. Because you know that was one of my favorite albums, man. That was one of my favorite albums by DJ Quick. That had that dollars and cents on it.
Yep.
Had some joints on there.
Yep. So you know, I leave high school. I end up, you know, we did a couple talent shows in the city. We didn't win, you know, but I mean, you know, people knew who he was. So
that started. So the talent shows is what created the buzz for you, where at least people knew, like, hey, yeah, this dude's an MC.
Yeah, and he got, you know, we got talent, you know.
Yeah.
So,
now you said Prince Rakeem was at the first joint, man. You know, what I mean, what ended up coming out of that show, the one that you didn't get to make it to?
Well, I think he won that show. Well, I mean, it's self-evident, you know.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that to say, you know, what was your energy after that? You know what I mean? You didn't get to make it there, you know, because of your parents, you know, ended up being, you know, you didn't know at the time, but later on, you know, Prince Rakeem, who became the RZA, was there, you know, let alone, you know, the people that you were doing music with was able to go without you being able to, you know, put it down how you wanted to put it down. You know, where was your mind, where was your head at the time?
Well, I mean, you know, that's going back, that would have been going back to junior high. So what it was where I was shocked was, well, I actually got a chance to meet him through Lady C. Mm-hmm. And then years later, they came out as the Wu-Tang Clan, and I wasn't sure if it was him. The only thing that let me know for sure it was him was in Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With. At the end, he say, peace to my boys in Ohio, the crazy YO, you know.
No doubt, yo, that was one of my favorite parts, yo. Yeah.
And so, you know, I knew who he was talking about and who he was talking to, not necessarily me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But you knew Lady C. Honestly, he knew that circle. He knew that circle.
He knew the circle of people. You know.
Right.
So then, you know, like I was saying.
I just wanted to make that clear. I just wanted to touch on that again because we really didn't expound on that. But yeah, let's continue.
Right. So then I ended up leaving Youngstown, and moving to Houston.
How old are you at this time?
At this time, I'm 18, turning 19. Youngstown is off the chain. I had.
Are you no longer in the group? You're no longer in the rap. You're no longer in the rap group. What happened with that?
Well,
can we talk about that?
So eventually, you know, we kind of started going our different ways. Not that we wasn't rapping together, but
creatively.
My mind state was changing. I was becoming a different person. You know, I had started studying with the Five Percenters, the Nation of Islam, and Hebrew Israelites, and even came across a couple Moors from the Moorish Science Temple, because Youngstown, you know, it's a very Masonic city. It's a very spiritual and political city. So those were aspects.
Absolutely, yeah. We definitely gonna touch on that later. Yes, but
I mean,
yeah.
like there's a Moorish Science Temple in Youngstown, one of the original Moorish Science Temples that Noble Drew Ali had established. So
Talk to me.
those things was
We're
going
well
on.
established out here.
Those things was going on with me, you know.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay, so at that time, you're not just saying creatively, but you were maturing as a person. You know what I mean? You were evolving. You know what I mean? Coming into your own, basically. You know.
Right.
So it wasn't really like a breakup or no misunderstanding. It was just you growing and moving on.
Yeah. And then
No doubt.
I was also hanging around other artists. You know, it was some people that we had grew up with that lived at the bottom of the hill off of Saranac. My partner Frank Nitty, and his little brother Felix, aka No Joke. What's up, No Joke, Frank? And then they had a partner named Dave. They had a squad, some Puerto Rican. All these dudes was Puerto Rican. They stayed at the bottom of the hill. We went to school together from grade school, not except Frank. Frank went to the East. But
Frank.
His little brother went to school with my middle brother.
Okay.
So I actually established my relationship with them through my middle brother and his brother being friends, and they knew that we rapped and was like, y'all should start hanging out together. So I started going down there, kicking it with them, and I found that, you know, I really liked being around them. The vibe was different, the mindset was different, a little closer to where I was going to, you know. And so, you know, Frank had knowledge of self growing up in Brooklyn. He was from Brooklyn. He was from New York.
Okay, see, that's what I wanted to get to. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Okay, so yeah,
so
when you came in contact with them, these dudes had they were on a whole nother mentality, so to speak.
Right. And then, so we used to hang out, go over to the East Side, hang out with some of his partners out on the East Side that rapped and produced, and beatboxing. Like, I never forget, you know, like, man, we would just be we would get into these zones, you know, we would be smoking, blowing boom, and like that's what we called it back then, you know,
right.
we go get a fat nickel sack and a Titan, and it'll be on, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
But Frank was somebody else that encouraged me, you know, it really encouraged me. He was like, yo, it was funny because back then he was like, you know what? He was like, you sound like you kind of rap like OC. And he was like, you ever heard of OC? And I was like, nah. So when I was listening to him, I was like, oh damn, I could see why he say that, you know.
Yeah. What was the similarities?
Especially when I heard that Time's Up, you know. Man.
Yeah.
So around this same time too, so you got to realize, like, so Biggie was out, Mobb Deep was out, Nas had dropped his stuff.
This is 90 what? At this point, we talking.
This is 90.
93.
This is 94 and 95.
94 and 95. Yeah, because Nas was 94, right?
Yeah. I think he was actually 93 because halftime. I think
93,
halftime had dropped in like 93. So
okay, yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Of course. I mean, by now, you know, I'm X Clan. I'm all of that. KRS. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm. You
cultured up. You cultured up.
Yeah, I'm definitely cultured up. I mean, you know, it was so much hip hop in Youngstown, it was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know, plus, you know, a couple of members of the X Clan was friends with people in Youngstown. You know, not to mention the fact that I had a cousin that worked in the radio Frankie Halfacre. He worked
Shout
in
out to
the
Frankie Halfacre.
radio.
Yeah,
He was
definitely.
responsible for bringing a great deal of the Motown and all of that to Youngstown, having Motown heard. A lot of them artists heard. You know,
Right. Yeah,
he
what
had,
was that station again? It was what? 10.
I can't even remember at
I
this
can't
point.
remember either. Yeah, yeah. But shout out to Frankie Halfacre, man. Shout out to Frankie Halfacre, but definitely a legend. Definitely a legend.
But yeah, so you know, so moving forward, I end up moving to Houston,
Yeah.
and I remember telling my partners though. I remember telling them before I left. I was like, listen, I know we ain't been doing a whole lot of recording together, but I'm gonna get down here. I'm gonna get connected with Rap a Lot and get signed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna pull y'all in. So what's funny about that was, you know,
So
the
is that why
power of
you
the
was going to Houston? What gave you Houston? What was
My
all
aunt
about
lived in
Houston?
Houston. So my aunt lived in Houston. So at this time, you know, look, I was never no knucklehead or no troublemaker. You know, I wasn't trying to be out in the streets. I had enough family that was out in the streets, you know, in and out of juvenile, you know, in and out of jail. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have that kind of experience in my life. Plus, the way I looked at it and still do is we ain't like on Boys in the Hood. We are not the ones flying and floating this shit over here.
Never have
We
been.
don't have
Never
no
have
boats.
been.
We don't have no planes. We don't have no helicopters, you know. And so
Exactly.
I did not want to be contributing to the destruction of my own people through selling drugs, you know.
Right.
I just didn't want to be that part of society, you know, because I felt having knowledge of self is a part of being proud of who you are, is uplifting. At that time, you know, I didn't connect with the Moore Science Temple in that way, but later on it came to me, you know, like really that's the reason why, is because I'm basically wanting to uplift fallen humanity. So
Right. And yeah, you know what? If we want a degree, you always know if you in the nation of the gods, shout out to the gods, you know, any substance taken from its original state is impure.
it's a chemical. Anything
You know what
taken
I
from its
mean?
original state is a chemical. And what's so funny about that is, you know,
So ain't no time for that.
well, here's the thing, you know, now, and it's not to get off the subject,
Right.
but it's just the simple fact that if you say you believe in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
The covenant between Adam and God was that he was supposed to be the Khalifa of the planet, the caretaker of the planet. So his first job and his first duty, not just to name the planet, but to be the caretaker. You know, he became a farmer. He wasn't just picking, you know, later on after being kicked out of the garden, he had to farm. He had to, you know, till the land, you know. And so
Facts.
that became, you know, that's the oldest business. People say it's prostitution. People say it's prostitution, and what, you know, some might disagree, but I guess you would say after prostitution is agriculture. So when you look at it, this is just how tricky the devil is. You know, if the sons and daughters of Adam, their job is to take care of the planet, and the way that they get their substance and nutrients from food is from being a farmer.
Right.
Everybody that's being locked up and put in jail are actually being put in jail for agricultural crimes.
Ooh, free the guys. Free the guys. You know what I mean?
And when you look at it, this is the reason why. Because there isn't a substance that is addictive that does not come from a plant base that's not turned into a chemical.
Are you listening, people? Hold on, run that back one more time. Say that again for me, brother.
There is no substance that's synthesized, that's synthetic, that does not come from a plant base. Okay.
So its original state is a plant. So if someone's out here taking, you know, going to the doctor, doing all this and taking the opiates and taking all this medication and all that, there is somewhere on this planet a natural substance of that you could find.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, so you know, so you know,
I don't want to get off track, man, but here you go.
Yeah,
so I just want to know what you meant about Houston. Like, were you telling your homies, you like, hey, look, we doing this together, and I'm not saying I'm cutting ties, but look, I'm about to go down here and try to connect with these people, man. And once I make this happen, man, we gonna do this, you know. And right. What was Rap a Lot? What made you say Rap a Lot at the time? We all know
because I was going to Houston. I mean, you know, the Ghetto Boys. Listen,
shout out to Jay Prince Jr. Shout out to the whole Rap a Lot. You know, what inspired you to Rap a Lot to make you want to say, okay, look, I'm leaving Youngstown, Ohio, up north, and I'm going down to Houston, and I'm gonna go link up with Jay Prince and Rap a Lot, and I'm gonna go make this dream happen.
Well, because it only made sense. First of all, because I was a versatile writer. All right. I could mimic other MC styles, and then I had my own flavor.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had my own swag for sure. I mean, you know that. Now, you know.
Right. Yeah, I know that for a fact. Yeah, I'm just agreeing, you know, the people don't know, but I definitely know.
But what it was because, I mean, you know, Rap a Lot. I mean, look, we supported so much hip hop. Like, I can remember when the Ghetto Boys dropped, Scarface, Willie D, Bushwick Bill, you know, them was some of my favorite rappers. Like, all of them.
Shout out to the whole Ghetto Boys, for real.
Yeah,
we loved you in Ohio. We loved y'all in Ohio. In case y'all didn't know that, Ohio fucks with y'all. Shout out to the Ghetto Boys.
They know that, you know. So also, you know, I listened to what was his name? The funky little nigga. What was his name? The artist that Scarface had dropped, the little dude that he was writing for, that he put out. We listened to him. We listened to DMG. We listened to Fifth Ward Boys. You know,
Mike.
Big Mike. You know, and so, you know, what the crazy part about it was, I got down there 3 days after me moving to Houston. I seen Scarface. Where my aunt lived, she lived on Beach Nut.
As soon as you touch down, you run into the man himself. Shout out to Scarface, legend. Definitely a legend.
My aunt lived on Beach Nut. She lived in the River Rain Apartments. And right next door to the River Rain Apartments was Tropical Gardens. And not knowing it, at that time, Bushwick Bill had a chick that he was messing with that stayed in Tropical Gardens, who lived downstairs from who eventually became my martial arts teacher. Shout out to Fundi Fee. And so that's how I ended up meeting Bushwick Bill first. And it's funny because I had a single of, you know, the back in the day, how you get a single tape and it you know, they short. So I had taken 2 of the songs that me and my partner had rapped on, and gave that to Bushwick, you know. And he was like, I was like, he said, you from Ohio? I remember, never forget when we was talking, I was getting ready to go to the store, and he was coming out the apartment, and I was like, Bushwick Bill, and he turned around and he was like, yo, what's up, son? And I was like, I just touched down from Youngstown. I was like, I rap, I produce, me and my partner, he back up in Youngstown. I was like, we cold. And he was like, well, come holler at me. I'll be right over here. I'm staying right here at this apartment right here. He was like, come knock on the door. He was like, I'll be here, you know.
Yeah.
So I did
Bill.
that.
Rest in peace, Bushwick Bill, man. Cool dude.
Yeah, rest in peace, Bushwick Bill. I mean, Bushwick was cool as hell, man. I mean, all of them was cool. Honestly, I got the opportunity, like I said, to meet everybody. So 3 days later, three days after me touching down in Houston, I'm going to the store, and not knowing it, that the place called UNI Records where Scarface started DJing as DJ Action.
That's heavy. Okay.
Yeah, where he started out, it was a Jamaican dude that owned the store, and it was the guy that was in the store, the record store, and I went in there, you know, and I was, because it was a black-owned record store, and so I went in there looking for some music, you know.
Right. Facts.
I went in there looking for I think it was I'm trying to think whose CD, tape had dropped at that time. I want to say it was Raekwon, because I accidentally left my CD.
Peace to the gods.
Yeah, I accidentally had left some of my CDs back at home. And so, yeah, I think it was Raekwon's. I was trying to get that Raekwon tape so I could listen to that.
I think it was tape, Cuban Links?
Cuban Links, only built for Cuban Links. Yeah, it was that and KRS's
legendary album. Shout out to Ray.
It was that and KRS's MC's Act Like They Don't Know single.
Shout out to KRS, man. Another freestyle legend.
Yeah. And so when I went in there, the DJ that was in there, you know, I was asking him about it, you know, and everything. And I started telling him, I was like, cause he had turntables and he was putting stuff on like right there, you know. And so I told him I rap, you know, I was like, I rap, you know. And I was like, and so he said, "Oh, you do?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I'm trying to meet somebody from Rap A Lot or something, so I can maybe me and my partners can get signed. And he was like, "For real?" Yeah. And he was like, Scarface will probably be here in a day or so. He always coming around here, you know. This is where he started out at. And I was like, "You lying?" You know. He was like, "Yeah." So he was like, "All right," he said, "Let me hear you rap." So what was funny was he threw on the Loonies. I Got 5 on it. And I ripped up that whole.
Shout out to Yuck. Shout out to Smoke A Lot Radio. Shout out to Yuck Ralph. Yeah, no doubt, man. Shout out to the whole Loonies on some real shit, man. You know what I mean?
The Liquid Crew. So then what happened was that I ripped that whole song, but I spit more than one style. And he was like, "You rap like that?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Man," he was like, "They'll probably love you and rap a lot." He was like, I'm a make sure that I get in contact with Face or whatever for you. So I just so happened to be walking down the street, because that was like the first day that I got there, that I went over there to that.
So it's all manifesting itself, what you had said back in the
What I had said when I was in Youngstown, right?
Yeah.
Word, sound, power. You know, the power of the tongue. You speak it, it happened, right? So, 3 days later, I walked back over there, going back over there to the record store. And who pulls up in this Benz, in a green Benz? Scarface. So me knowing being from Youngstown, you know, so I called him from about I called his name from about 7 yards away, because he was pulling in and his window was down, and I was like, "Yo, Face," you know. And then he turned back and he like gave me the head nod. So I'm still walking, you know, and he giving me this look like this nigga approaching my car, like, you know.
Right.
I keep talking. I'm like, "Yo, Face." I was like, "I just got here from Ohio. I'm from Youngstown." I was like, "I'm trying to get signed," you know. I was like, "I'm a rapper. I'm a producer." And so he was like, "Well, come up to the office." You know what I'm saying? And so at that time, I was going by Centered Gravity. Okay.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Center of gravity. All right,
Center of
please.
gravity is an acronym. It means channeling energy naturally through eternal, receptive, enlightened dimensions. God reveals acute verbal intellect through you.
Ooh, peace.
so
Ooh.
EyeGod
TV.
So, you know, I told him that his partner in the store, I had just met him, and that he wanted me to link up with him, that he had heard me rap. And I was like, I'll spit some bars right now if you want. He said, well, I really don't have time. So he was like, come up to the office. So I was like, cool. So maybe it was funny though. I met Bushwick after this. I didn't see Bushwick till probably maybe 2 months after that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And where I was staying at on the southwest side was hot. Everybody know about Beechnut and around 95, Beechnut, Bissell, Gessner, in that area, all the way, over by the Beltway. You know, if you go on the other side, you know, it go from being Houston to Ailey. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay.
I spent a lot of time.
It was a wild area at the time. There was a lot going on in that area at the time.
Oh yeah, it was just as hot. Like it was a street right up the street. Like if you walk down Beechnut, and go towards the Beltway, you got to come to a street called Corporate, right?
Okay.
And you had Corporate Street, and then you had Corporate Street. Corporate Street was off the chain, and then it was another street. I for some my mind is another street that was crazy off the train. Club Creek. Club Creek was off the fucking chain. Off the chain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you in there, so you touching down from Youngstown, which had a lot already going on. You know what I'm saying? And then you come down here, you know, and you in the hood at the same time. But the difference is about being down here at the time is you honestly the puzzle pieces coming together. You bumping into the people that you that you said you wanted to bump into.
What ended up happening was shortly after I moved to Houston, my aunt had, you know, she had been living there about 10 years or so, 10, 15 years maybe. And so she had got married and moved down there with her husband and everything. And you know, so what's crazy is my aunt's friend, her husband was from New Orleans. And he was working as a carny. Now, right before I had left Youngstown, I was working at the Canfield Fair at the, you know, the fair. So I was working in the games or whatever. I was the one where, you know, you got to throw the balls to knock the pins down, you know, throw your baseball to knock the pins down.
Right.
So I started hanging out with him, a guy named Eric Johnson. Rest in peace, Eric. So he was from
rest in peace, Eric Johnson, definitely.
Yeah, he was from New Orleans, right? So I was hanging out with him, but me and Eric.
The New Orleans, the NO.
So I'm about to just show you just how connected I've been, you know. So hanging out with him, going to these different carnivals, going to carnivals down and we did carnivals in Conroe. We was in Sugarland. We was in Port Arthur. We was in where else was we at? We was doing carnivals all around the suburbs of Houston. And so one night we coming home, it's about 1 a.m. We coming home from the carnival or whatever. And he was like, Mystical was out at this time, right? And so he playing Mystical. He the one that hit me to Mystical. You know, he like, this my little partner.
Yeah, shout out to Mystical, man. Yeah, we
Mystical,
fucked with Mystical.
yeah, shout out
back
to
then.
Mystical. He was like, this my little partner, you know. He from New Orleans. He was like, I know this dude. He was like, he cold. And I was like, yeah, he cold. That y'all don't hear me though was my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was all on that Mystical. I was all on that Mystical, bro. That boot camp clip. And
me too.
I was all on it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, me too. Definitely unpredictable. Definitely legendary Mystical.
He says to me, hey, Mystical gonna be in Houston at a club on the north side. Let's go see him.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm like, okay. So we get over there to the north side. The limo is there. Mystical is in a limo, smoking weed, him and some other dudes. And so Eric go up to the car and he calling by his name. And so he rolled the window down.
Yeah, so he knowing.
The smoke is coming out, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, what's up, cuz? And, you know, and they start rapping. And he was like, I want to introduce you to my little partner. You know what I'm saying? He rapping stuff too, you know. And so he pounded me up, you know. And I told him, you know, man, I love your work. I love the song. You know what I'm saying? I told him I rap, this, that, and the third. And he was like, yeah, we about to go in here and rock this show or whatever, you know. And so he offered for us to be able to come backstage. But we had to get up and leave like bright and early. And we was only going to get about 3 hours of sleep. And I ain't gonna lie, I was tired as hell. Yeah. I would have stayed, but Eric had to drive me all the way to the southwest side. And then he had to go to a whole Missouri City. He had to go to Missouri City. Okay. And so that was, he was like, I'm going to take you home, because we was coming that way anyway. So I'm going to take you home and then I'm going home. Right. So, I got to meet Mystical, you know, so, then, the crazy thing about Eric, you know, Eric was on drugs, you know, he was doing coke and doing woolies. And so when we first started,
drugs, we ain't talking about this, what we all was doing, you know, smoking the trees, you know.
Yeah.
He was on another level of it.
The thing of it though was one night we was supposed to be going out to go to go to the carnival or whatever. And this dude took me somewhere and I don't know where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He had me out on sunny side. I didn't know I was on the sunny side of Houston. Okay. So we in this crack house or whatever. And I'm like, yo, I don't get down like this. So, you know, he was like, man, look, you can catch that bus right there and it'll take you home. You know, to take you right to your aunt's house, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had some other shit going on at the time too.
He
So
did.
right.
And that's what caused me to stop dealing with him, you know.
Yeah, so you kind of knew, and you was already kind of seeing like, all right, yeah, this ain't gonna continue too much further with him.
Yeah. Because, you know, we didn't go home that night. I wake up, I'm still in the car asleep. We outside, and I'm like, what the hell? But anyway, so jump forward about a month or two after that. It was an open mic at a retirement home / banquet hall up the street from where I stayed, right off the freeway, right off of the 59 freeway, right by the Toys R Us. And that's where I met my one partner, who we started doing stuff together, and nothing really ever came of it. We hung around each other for some years, you know. I met a lot of artists. I met some, so I met, you know, like a group of artists called the X-Men, a dude named Red Cess, Diology. I met
shout out to them, definitely.
a dude named Stress. You know, these was all local artists, hot ass hip hop artists.
Shout
You
out to
know,
all the local artists. Definitely, I've been to one of them.
yeah, they was dope. They was dope as hell. And then I met some producers. You know, and
Yeah.
and so I did my thing. I got into a couple rap battles and stuff. It was a place called Big Apple Records. I remember they had a rap battle. It was the last three people in it. It was me, a dude named Big Burner from Tennessee, and a dude named Red something from Chicago. He was cold as hell.
Shout out to them, yeah, for sure.
Big Burner ended up winning. He reminds you of 8-Ball.
Shout out to 8-Ball.
8-Ball and MJG.
Man, Space H Pimpin'. Shout out to Tennessee, for real.
Right. And so I ended up meeting Little Kiki, and I ended up meeting Lil Kiki and Mike 5000 Watts right after
Mike
that.
Watts, man. DJ Screw.
And I never forget, it was a dude named DeLeon from Dallas took me to DJ Screw. Got to meet DJ Screw. Got an official DJ Screw tape, you know. And it's funny
because from DJ Screw himself?
From DJ Screw himself.
That's legendary right there. That's legendary. R.I.P. Rest in peace, DJ Screw. You actually had a Chopping Screw tape.
You knew the real DJ Screw tapes because all he did was sell metal tapes. And anybody know that did recording, there was a difference between a regular cassette tape and the metal tapes that you do for your masters, you know. So those was DAT tapes. If it was either that or you had to have a VCR tape that they used for DAT, for ADAT.
Right.
Okay. So I met a lot of MCs from all over, like, you know. So I would say around 97, 98, I started going up to Just Joking.
What's that?
They used to have Apollo night on Thursdays.
Okay, just like an open mic?
They had open mic. It was Apollo night. You had to sign up. You had to get there early and sign up. And then usually what I would do is I would get there about an hour early and get my name on the list because the list was shut down fast. Right. So lo and behold, I didn't know the Ghetto Boys would be up there all the time, you know. So once again, I saw Bushwick Bill and Scarface, you know.
Yeah.
And that's for the first time that I met Willie D, you know.
Shout out to Willie D, man.
Salute. And what was dope about going to Just Joking was I never won a show, but I always got respect, you know.
All day, every day.
I never got booed. And I never forget this one time when I got up on the mic, like, I don't know who it was, but you know how Ricky Harris, rest in peace, Ricky Harris, you know, when he was on Def Comedy Jam, he said, he went to the Apollo, and as soon as he got up there, they started booing. We'll say something. Boo, 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 boo your ass.
Yeah, facts.
So I never will forget that. This one day, somebody decided they wanted to be funny and boo me. And I lost it. I spazzed.
Right, yeah.
I never forget it. I was like, who boo? I was like, whoever booing, stand up and be a man. You know, I was like, there was like, I was like, crowd, point him out so I can eat him up and spit him out. You know, it was. It was
going dark. Still going dark.
I was going in. And so, what was funny was, so it was a guy named Darnell something. I might be wrong, but I swore his name was Darnell something, Darnell Lester or something like that. Him and Montana Taylor used to host the open mic. for I mean not the open mic, but the Apollo night. And I seen it, man. It was a lot of cold people.
Yeah,
So
man, this is
I never forget the the first time she was hosting. So back then I had a bald head. I was rocking a bald head, and I had found a shirt at a I found a shirt and that had pretty much looked like my silhouette. It was a tank top that had a picture of a dude with a mic, and it was like my silhouette. So it was perfect. And back then, I used to carry my backpack. I used to carry my book bag everywhere. You know, would be wearing my book bag.
Yeah, shout out to all the backpackers. You heard?
So I'm coming up on stage, and she, you know, her being a comedian, she's like, "Oh, he cute." She's like, and he must be over to rap because he coming up here looking like the Unabomber. Like, like she said, like he got dynamite in his book bag or something. Like, so you know,
safety first, then teamwork, right? Safety first.
And you know, it was cool. It was cool, you know, getting to meet. I got to meet a lot of comedians as well. I got to meet Bruce. I got to meet
shout out to Bruce.
I got to meet Ricky Smiley. I got to meet
Ricky Smiley too. You know what's up, Cleveland area.
I got to meet Arnez J. I got to meet AJ Johnson. He was hosting this one night. It was hilarious. So I get up there, and he was like, "This next dude up here coming up, he sounded like a scientist or something." Everybody put your hands together for center of gravity. And so he gave me the mic, and he was like, "You better be good." And so they put on New York. I never forget. I killed it. I freestyle. Look, freestyle. I did the hook. I did the hook in 3 verses. And when I got off, the song go off. I get off. AJ Johnson. He come up. He was like, "Hold up." He took the mic from me. He said, "Y'all give this rapping ass nigga a hand. This motherfucker can rap." He was like, he didn't leave no space. He was like, you know how rappers will leave space? He rapped from the beginning to the end. He rapped the hook. I was cracking up.
Every bar, chewed every bar, the instrumental,
Look, he was like, "Yo, Scarface, Willie D, a rapper like y'all need to sign this nigga right here. This motherfucker cold. This is a rapping ass nigga right here, you know." So you know, I eventually ended up also at that time meeting 2 guys that we got into a group called Ways of Better Living. So rest in peace.
At that show?
No, not at that show. I ended up meeting at that time he went by De Leon Supreme. But now he go by Harold James. What's up, Harold?
Yeah, shout out to Harold for sure.
Yeah, so they was out on the southwest side, and it was him. I was sitting at the bus stop coming from out of my apartments, and he was sitting at the bus, and I always at that time I always used to keep my trapper keeper with all of my sketches. I'm an artist. I draw and all of that too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he was sitting at the bus stop, and he seen this picture that I had, and he was like, yo, you drew that? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, that's hot as hell. He was like, listen, we looking for somebody to draw some covers to our CD, me and my partner,
Yeah.
For our CD. He was like, you know, we rap. And I was like, you rap? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I rap too. I was like, I rap, I produce. He was like, get out of here. So do I. He was like, I'm gonna introduce you to my partner.
Yeah.
And so what happened was we all ended up linking up. Like the very first day we got together, I went over to Harold's apartment because he stayed in the same apartment complex.
Uh-huh.
And so he introduced me to Mirage. Well, I'm the one that actually gave him the name Mirage. Well, I suggested.
This was Harold's partner.
Let me correct that. I suggested that he call himself Mirage Alizak Blazar. But
why? Off of his demeanor, off of his
because of his style, his production style. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you know, his name was Tim Hatter. Rest in peace, Tim. He passed on a few years back. Yeah. And we were supposed to be trying to get back together and do some things, you know, but so we was working together. We had produced a lot of material real quick. Like I said, the first night we got together, we ended up writing a song, me and Harold. And soon as Tim heard it, he was like, we ought to become a group, you know. And I was like, word. I was like, think about it. All three of us producers, writers, and me and Tim sing too. So so we became Ways of Better Living. And we was hot, man. You know, we had done a song called Going Too Far. That was our first single.
Okay. Yeah.
Now at this time, I was also involved with of course, you know, like the local I would go to the Shrine of the Black Madonna. I dealt with the Nation of Islam. I dealt with Buff. I dealt with the Shape Center. You know, I also was dealing with the HTM. It was known in, you know, dealing with Dr. York.
Yeah, shout out to them. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to
and so I had met a music lawyer through one of my members with the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, and they heard our stuff. Really, it was their 12-year-old son that listened to the music and was like, "These dudes is geniuses!" Like,
yeah, that's right.
They like, you know, if our 12-year-old son is saying they hot, you know, I mean, the children know, they don't lie. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's absolutely,
So,
I know my kids tell me what's hot all the time. My kids put me on to what's slamming.
So this is about 98. Yeah, this is about 98. So 98, we ended up, the music lawyer ended up connecting us with the producer called Shatero Henderson. And we already had an album or a CD, but they wanted us, of course, to be standard, you know, music standard. I mean, industry standard.
Meaning what? Like edited, watered down?
No, not watered down. Just the sound needed to be interesting.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. Like mixed, properly mixed, and all that.
Yeah, properly mixed down and engineered and all of that. So they told us, you know, that we had to. They told us that they wanted us to get back in the studio, re-record it, and then send it to him and let him do his do his magic.
Right, of course. Yes, send it to engineers, let them do what they do to it.
So what happened was, we recorded the song. I ended up and I got the interview on tape. I ended up leaving, going back to Youngstown for about 6 months. I had gotten into a car accident. I was a passenger in the car, and I left, went back home for a little while, was trying to promote the CD, trying to promote the single. I actually got a chance to Brother K, shout out to Brother K, that worked at the radio station in Youngstown.
Definitely, shout out to Brother K, yes.
I let him hear the single, and he was like, I got to do an interview with you. So we did the interview, and they played the song for years up in Youngstown. They played the song for years, Going Too Far, on the radio off and on.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I had a dream about one of the members who was in a group called Mass 187. They was part of the clique.
Okay.
A dude named Black. And I had a dream that, in the dream I was him, but I had a dream that he had got killed in the kitchen in his apartment by a guy he was having beef with, and his daughter was right there and saw it all. And just as I dreamed it, the dream I had, I called my partner. I called Harold. Harold was the one who answered the phone, and we talked about it. And he was like, man, so I told him, I said, listen, if this happened, I don't know if we should, because we was talking negotiating a deal and all of that. I was like, I don't know if we should do it, I didn't know nothing about, people being sacrificed and stuff like that back then. That was,
Right.
Not to say that that's what happened, but I just knew it was a bad omen,
Right. Of course.
So it turned out, about a month or two later, the dream was right, unfortunately. So him and his cousin, Harold and his cousin from Virginia, Caesar, they ended up leaving and going back to Virginia by the time I got back to Houston.
Okay. So they weren't even there when you got back. They weren't even around anymore.
Yeah, they somehow all that happened. And so me and Tim started collaborating on another album. And right before that happened, I take that back. After that happened, Harold came back around. We started dealing with Tim's cousin, who was selling dope. We was working in his studio. We ended up losing a lot of stuff in his studio from a drug raid. About three CDs worth of material.
So the place where you guys recorded now, also, he's also there trying to survive too at the same time. Not only try to create music, but also try to pay the bills.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so, long story short, I'm still doing my thing. I'm still trying to record and produce and all of that. Well, skip forward about 2004. I was dealing with a good friend of mine, Big Deuce, aka Freddie Rivera, from out of Second Ward. Real good friend of mine. He had let me borrow his MP16. We was producing. We had a production group called Tamu Productions.
All right.
So I had met him by way of Dope E. Shout out to Dope E, aka Murdoch. Dope E is the dude who actually did the sample for My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me.
Say word.
Say word. He was in a group called Terrorists.
Oh man, shout out to him. Word. That's so crazy. That's one of my favorite joints. My playing tricks, that's my joint.
This web that's constantly being woven, it's like I'm around all these people.
Right. I'm seeing the connection with all of it. You're right. I'm seeing the whole connection for sure.
So from around 98 to 2003, I was heavily into the poetry scene in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I even hosted a couple poetry spots. One was at Texas Southern University at the library.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nefertari Williams. That's my, So we had a thing going on there. So like I said, my partner had let me use his MP16. I'm producing tracks. I'm at my baby's mother's house at the time, her apartment. One of her friends come down from Dallas, who is real good friends with Nayrock, who is Eryka Badu's sister. And so she's telling me that Eryka is wanting to put out some new material. She owed 2 CDs to her label. She got writer's block. Okay.
So wait a minute. After all that, you bump into this chick, and this just happened to be the great Eryka Badu's sister.
No, her sister's friend. One of her
sister's friend. Yeah. She had
they went to school together. They went to school.
Old girl knew Erica's sister. Is what I meant to say. Yeah.
Right. And so, when I hear this, I'm like, well, when Eryka had first dropped her first CD on and on, the Baduism, I had a dream that we was gonna do music together. So I was like, this must be that opportunity, you know.
Yeah,
now, anybody that know me, you know I dream. I have deja vu a lot, you know. I see a lot of shit before it happens, you know.
Right, definitely.
So I tell her name is Kelly. I tell her, I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind helping her with her project. I had dreams that I was going to work with her from her first CD, you know. And so I was like, I got this concept that I've been holding on to since high school, that they wasn't ready for then, I would like to do now. If that's the case, you would be the perfect person to put it out. It's some real original stuff, you know.
Right.
So the concept of that album was called Amerikkka, the Fourth World War, aka the
Okay. That's deep, yeah.
And it was all about Youngstown. It was basically like a school.
Because of what was going on back then, where you had left from, and back in the names and the friends and the I see where you're going. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so it was basically like a score to my life at that time, right? So she was a movie producer. So she had heard the music that I was producing, and she like, that shit's hot. She would definitely want to, you know, work with you. Well, what's crazy is a few years before that, I had met an artist from out of Dallas called Ndombi. And she had heard me perform at a spot called Muddy Waters. Shout out to Shaji, who was the owner of Muddy Waters at the time. And you know, the people who was there in Houston, a lot of the artists that was there, you know, the poets that was there, we was like a family. You know, we would always go, you know how I go, you know, just like hip hop. You know, y'all, you see people who are part of that circle, you know, y'all get close. And
of course.
And so
get that creative bond.
Her and another group of artists had come down who was also dealt with like the Nuwapian movement. They had come down because they had heard about us, and a couple of the artists that was from Houston had gone up to Dallas to perform. So the invite was to bring for them to come down to perform at our spots. You know, that open invitation was there. They took it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, of course, yeah.
now when I used to get on the mic and do poetry, you know, I would come dressed in garb, like I would come dressed in like the Egyptian headdress, the Nemez headdress, and all of that, you know.
Right, yeah, you know what, I seen it myself, man. You know, we did that show. You know what I mean? When you came out with the joint on, you know, with the staff, had the mask on. It was crazy. We was right back in the middle of the hood, man. Niggas was looking like, yeah, it was real, man. It was a beautiful moment. And you know what? At that same time, after you did that, man, we did that show and another one after that, man. There was no violence. There was no, you know, and there was people from all sides of town in the city at the time that really didn't like each other. And it was all cool, man. You came and blessed the scene, man. And it was love, man. So I know exactly what you're saying, man, personally.
Right. So even with poetry, I used to do a lot of stuff straight off the dome, you know, right then and there on the spot, you know.
Yeah.
But I had some stuff that I had written, and one of the things that I was known for, I would have two brothers get I would have them come on stage, so we would be like a triad, right? It was a brother named Mike, aka Traumatized, Cold Poet, Cold. I mean Cold. And then another dude named Khalid. Shout out to Khalid, another awesome poet. They would get behind me, and the way we would start the way I would start my session, kick it off, we would chant on. So
okay, yeah, yeah.
Behind me, and so we would start. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So once we did about 4 or 5 rounds of that, I would go into my piece. Boom. You know, we literally at times the walls would be vibrating, like, you know, it would be crazy. Folks, man, crazy energy used to come off when I would get up there and do my thing.
Right.
But this particular day, then when that group came down and they saw that, they was like, whoa. So she and Domby had said to me, you know, she was like, that was, you know, I really liked your performance, you know, I'd never seen nothing like that. That was really nice, you know, the way you did that. And
right.
I told, well, she had sung, and I was like, well, you know, I was really digging your song, your tone, your voice is just, you know, I told her you remind me of Michelle Farrell, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would really like to write with you, you know, and produce for you too, you know. So she had gave me her contact and all of that. So this was like 2-3 years before all of this happened with my friend's my friend's friend coming and telling me about Eryka. So so then what happened was, I told her, I said, what'll happen is I want you to record me, and then I'll lay out the pre-production to give the concept of what this album is, and it's going to be a double CD. So I laid out the first CD, okay? And I didn't do all of it. I just laid out the basic concept and some of the lyrics, not all of it, but a lot of it. And then I didn't give anything for the second part because I figured, you know, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So in this recording that Kelly, she recorded me on video. Kelly recorded me on video. So it was her, my son's mother, Natasha, and artist, another artist, and a songwriter named Janetta Thomas. Shout out to Janetta. She's an awesome writer. She also do a poet. So they helped me with, I would give them something to sing or harmonize, and they would hold it while I beatbox to lay down. So you know how we do it, how you take
Yeah,
snippets.
right,
And if you're a
right,
producer, you can
exactly.
take that and then reproduce it and put the song together, you know.
Right, right, exactly.
So then after that, I talked about this character that I wanted to spring off of that double CD called Childish Gambino. And Childish Gambino was like basically he was like a black Weird Al Yankovic. He was a spoof artist, but his job was to not spoof songs, but the industry itself, because at that time, hip hop and R&B, everything was gangster, and all these artists was coming out, Little This, Young That, you know, now they baby.
Right,
you know?
right.
And so I laid out that concept for This Is Amerikkka. I laid out the concept for a couple other songs, and then even an idea for a TV show, which later became the character that they created, the character that he played, called Atlanta.
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. Hold on. So we saying out of this project that you was coming up with, these ideas is where the whole concept of the Childish Gambino and all that even come from.
Yep. If you can find that videotape, if Kelly ever coughed up that videotape, if she didn't destroy it, because I'm sure they got, well, I shouldn't just assume they all got paid, but I assume, knowing how the industry goes, you know, everybody got paid but me. I was excluded from out of my own production, from out of my own creation. You know, I can pull up tracks right now that sound like the production for that whole, you know, for all of it.
Yeah.
Now,
so
the
this
funny
is
thing,
this is Amerikkka, all that. You know, even when I think about the records, because I've been in the studio personally with you. You know, I've done music with you for years. I've been around you for 20 plus years. I mean, it's like, even when I listen to think about songs like This Is Amerikkka and things like that, you know, it's like the concepts and the wordplay and stuff like that. I mean, I can hear you all the way through it myself personally. You know, that's not no bias, nothing like that, but that's just experience. Like I said earlier, we speaking on just straight experience, and through that experience, that whole energy and that whole vibe, from the Badu to the Childish Gambino to the whole thing, is really like, I've seen it firsthand, you know, so I can definitely relate to, you know, how you saying you was spreading that on before I even met you. I could see how it was already happening.
Right. So check this out. I'm just to back it up. So, you know, each single song, each one of them songs that was on New Amerikkka, the Fourth World War, aka the like I said, it's based off of real life events. Like, so Honey was the first single to be dropped. And I say all of this on this video now. I say it. If they ever, if any, all of them artists like Questlove and them that helped Jay Dilla, you know.
Shout out to Jay Dilla.
That, you know, help reproduce that work. They had to see my face first. Okay. Now, I know the write-up on Wikipedia say that she did it on GarageBand.
No.
Even if she did, it was because she took it from this video.
Okay. Yeah. Right. The original, from the video.
It all came from me. So, like I said, the song, The Hump, if I could get over that hump, then maybe I will feel better. See, these are songs that's talking about my life, right? And in that song, it come to a point where she talk about it, like going towards the end, she said, my brother is laying on my floor, he need a little mo. Yeah. You know, so that's that song is actually the blueprint for Childish Gambino, how I was going to introduce him through that project, through that music. Okay.
Right.
Because he was going to be like Sir Nose. He was going to be a character that was just going to show up and appear as like a hype man, so to speak.
Right.
But they didn't get all of that. You see what I'm saying? Purposefully so. They got the skeleton, but they got the skeleton and some of the muscles, but they didn't get the skin. See what I'm saying? And so for everybody who's listened to that project, who, because this is really deep. Everybody who's listened to that project don't realize that it's that whole double CD is not finished. Like most of them songs are not done. It's a lot of dynamics in the songs because first of all, each song is supposed to be like them old school back in the 70s extended versions, like the extended version of Knee Deep and
kind of like back to your root, how you started, like how when you started rhyming, just the break beat, okay,
exactly.
right. You're bringing that same flavor,
and so out of that, that's how Childish Gambino come along. Now the idea that connects to Atlanta is this, that the character that he played.
Now we're talking about the show, not the city.
Talking about the show, the TV show Atlanta. The character that Donald Glover played was an aspect of my life because for a week I was homeless. Nobody knew that. I literally for a week slept in my storage unit. Nobody knew that. So it's just kind of crazy because,
and we know that, and we know that from the show. If anybody watched the show, they know the connection. They know the connection.
Yep.
Yeah. Just even in that one aspect, let alone everything else we already said.
Right. So fast forward is 2008. I'm in, now this is after we had met, right? And I had recorded the stuff that I recorded with y'all and with Eclipse and so then moved to Columbus, right? So I moved to Columbus. I get back with my old rap partner, and we can't click because I've just outgrown a lot of that. You know, our minds is somewhere totally. It's almost like Big Boy and Andre. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But to a whole nother extreme. You know. So, so this is like 2008. My partner was staying with me. In my apartment for a short while. He was going through a divorce, and he had called me one day, and he was like, "Yo, did you heard that new EB?" Now, mind you, he in my apartment, and he listening to the stuff that I'm producing on Fruity Loops.
Yeah. So you in there cooking, you in there cooking up beats and all that.
And he's smelling what I'm cooking up in the kitchen, right?
Right.
So he was like, "Yo, this shit sound like your music." He was like, "That I take that as an omen." Like he was like, "Just wait." He said, "I'm gonna bring it." So we end up taking a trip to Serpent Mound, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I hear it for the first time.
Which is very ironic.
Right. Exactly. And so
shout out to Serpent Mound.
They come on, I'm like, they even tripping. I know the shit. I know the song, I know the music. And they like looking at me and he said, "I thought you didn't hear this before." And I was like, I know it. For some reason, I was like, it's impossible. She ain't that damn telepathic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, and so I'm tripping because I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, how the hell do I know this shit? Like off the back of my hand, I know this stuff, you know, not realizing it's my material. So, you know, so check this out.
So you hearing this in the lyrics and the
all of it. And then I got the nerve. I'm telling them, I'm like, but it's missing stuff. It's supposed to have this, that, and the third. And then and so, you know, it took a couple years for me to really figure out that this is actually like, well, I shouldn't say it took me a few years. It took me a few years to really accept it. I was in denial for about 2 years, you know. But what was crazy was everybody who heard my music would go, this reminds me of Eryka, that one Erykka Badu album, right?
Yeah.
Even the lady I was with at the time, she was like, this, she said it, she was like, this do sound just like your music, you know?
Yeah.
So I remember you called me.
Right.
Couple of my other partners called me, yo, that new Eryka sound like you. Like, you know, that sound like your production.
Right.
And so what's crazy is, just to fast forward, 2013, I had moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm working in this factory called Access. It was a little African lady named Carolyn. And we was standing in the conveyor in the line. She next to me, and out of nowhere, she was like, "You are an artist?" And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "You're a pretty good artist too." I was like, "Yeah, I do my thing." She said, "No, the Lord is telling me, Spirit is telling me now that you have something out there that somebody else is taking claim for. You know, it's yours, but they are acting as if it is theirs, you know."
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, that's no good." She said, they're not gonna get away with it. And so she said, "I tell you this now." She said, "People are going to start recognizing that work, that is yours because of other things you do, and they're going to connect it, you know."
Yeah.
And she said, "The Lord is showing me that you two are going to be at the same place at the same time, but you won't be able to speak to one another." And then she said, "Then after that, you're going to see more people who know her, who are going to acknowledge that your work, whatever it is that you have, reminds them of that, whatever it is she has, you know."
Yeah.
Well, let me correct that. They didn't say she. They said whatever it is they have.
Yeah.
And then she said, now, mind you, wasn't no Instagram or FaceTime or nothing like that at this time.
Right.
I see her. I see them. I see them and you looking at each other on something on TV, and they acknowledge you. You are sending them letters and they are ignoring them. And you're going to send them a letter and they are going to acknowledge you by waving a hand or something like that. And she said, after that, the Spirit, the Holy Spirit is going to move forward on your behalf. After you have sent those letters, she has a short time to respond, or she's going to end up. They are going to end up being embarrassed. Now, you got Jaguar Wright out there dragging her name right now,
right?
Talking about whatever.
Yeah, I was just gonna touch on this. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
and so, and she also said, you will not have to do anything. So, the other thing too was, was one more thing she said. She said something else. Well, what ended up happening was in 2017.
Yeah.
I moved to Houston. I moved from Columbus to New Orleans. And while I was living in Columbus, I met two people who know her, who happen to be spiritual sisters of hers.
Yeah.
And I had explained that to them. I told them about it, and they told me that they weren't surprised.
Yeah.
They could definitely see the connection, and then so there was a couple other artists that I had met. Like there was a brother I met when I was in Winston-Salem who he was telling me, he was talking about the CD, he was talking about it, how much it had changed his life and woke him up and this, that, and the third. And mind you now, that whole thing, master teacher,
right.
That's that what if there was no niggas, only master teachers, I stay woke. Like that was a piece that I used to do in the poetry scene.
Okay, so now we got receipts.
This is how that went. Like I would be like, fuck all that slave shit. Fuck all that slave shit. We ain't slaves no more. Fuck all that slave shit. And then I would go, what if there was no niggas, only master teachers,
Right.
I stay woke. Like that's how it went. I just changed it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, peace.
So I moved to New Orleans and I ended up working, we ended up doing Airbnb. Me and my lady, we ended up doing Airbnb. And one of the guests, well, let me back up. So I had got a job working for Landmark Security. And we did the Essence Festival. This is that lady's prophecy. I was out front in the front gate where if I look back, I could see the stage. And I saw her, Jill Scott, and the Roots.
Shout out to Jill Scott.
Same place at the same time, but we couldn't talk to one another. Okay.
Yeah.
I ended up seeing Eddie Murphy's wife with her fine ass.
Yeah.
I ended up seeing Tisha. I ended up seeing Tisha Martin. I ended up seeing Tachina Arnold. I ended up seeing oh man, come on. The dude that played in She Hate Me. That's on because he from New Orleans. The chick that played in come on. There was a bunch of artists that is from New Orleans that was there. The pretty light-skinned girl that was in the TV show with Thelma Hopkins. Oh man, that played the Sisters. I think that's what it was called. Sisters,
okay. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, the one chick that, that had the frizzy hair, and then it was her, and her mama was uppity, and Baba, whatever his name, was the dad, and she was there. The dude who played in Treme as Antoine Baptiste. I got to holler at him for a short second. So I mean, like
Yeah. But it just so happens what the lady had told you.
What she said was true.
Yeah.
We was at the same place at the same time, and I couldn't say nothing to her. So about let's see. So and this was that was 2017. I mean, this was 2018, 2019 spring. I met an artist from Canada, a guy named Kevin McDermott. Awesome artist, dope. He was a guest at our house, and so when he had showed me his art, my intuition was telling me, go grab this particular picture and show it to him. And
yeah,
so it happens to be this image here. So when he saw this image, I handed it to him.
You painted this. You drew this.
Yeah, I painted that. Yeah. So he was looking at it. He said, he was like, Eryka Badu? I said, yeah. He said, she did an album about maybe 2008, maybe a little before then. I said, yeah, New Amerikkka, the Fourth World War. He said, you know it. I said, yeah, I'm the author of it. I'm the actual creator of that whole concept.
Yeah.
And he was like, huh? And I said, yeah, I am. And the lady I was with at the time, she was standing in the kitchen, right at the door. And he turned and looked at her, and she was shaking her head. Yeah, she was like, yeah, that's his stuff, And so I broke it down to him. I told him the whole spill, just like I'm telling you now.
Right. Yeah.
So, so yeah,
wow.
Now, what was deep was because
that's some amazing artwork, man. We can't just go past. We can't just breeze right past that. That is amazing artwork. I'm looking at it now, trying to decode the whole thing, still in my mind. That's amazing.
Well, it's dealing with the light codes, the part of the subtle energy grid, dealing with the Leo Hydra consciousness connection, which we can get into that on another day. But so that's dealing with star seeding and
right.
how like they said, what makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquake. So
yeah, for real.
So then at that same time, that fall, Childish Gambino was supposed to come to New Orleans to do Voodoo Fest. And he ended up hurting himself. Well, I'm a member of the Northside Skull and Bone Gang, which is a masking society from out of Treme.
Okay.
The Backstreet Culture Museum is what we hail out of every carnival or Mardi Gras. Carnival is what is properly called.
Mm-hmm.
Shout
out to them. Shout out.
And so, the symbol that they use for Voodoo Fest is the Baron Samedi.
Right.
And that's, in a sense, who we represent,
Right.
And so to me, it wasn't a coincidence that all of that had happened, him trying to come to New Orleans. I'm there, knowing that I'm the actual creator of Childish Gambino and all of that. And,
Yeah, you're Geppetto. You are Geppetto.
I mean, I am. I'll say it 1,001 times. If that videotape ever come up, everybody, the whole world will know I'm not lying. Right. I don't have a reason to lie. It don't serve me to lie.
Right. That ain't what that ain't what you ever been about. And I know you personally, you always been a stand-up guy. You've never been about that. That definitely what the platform is about either. Plus, like we said.
I got too much creativity to steal from somebody else. Or even
and at the same time, that's another thing I was going to say that too, man. Another thing is, I've seen, I mean, just as levels I've seen it go to, it's like, you know.
I mean, you know, look, I'm not
you
just
don't need to do that.
I'm a writer, I'm a poet, I'm a producer, I'm a singer, I can dance, I'm an actor, I'm a filmmaker myself. You know what I'm saying? I've been listen, the stuff that everybody's doing now with taking songs and dancing and stuff like that and doing their own versions of improvisation of other people's songs. We was doing that as teenagers.
Right.
We was taking camcorders and we would videotape ourselves. Look, me and my partner, we used to do crazy stuff like paint our chins, paint our mouths, and paint, cut our beards and put eyeballs here and flip upside down and do the chin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sing and look and sing Dre Day. You know what I'm saying? And do all these crazy faces and stuff with our mouths,
Yeah.
Then another thing we did too was, another thing we did was, back then we was wearing Carhartt jackets and stuff like that,
Right.
So, and the beanies, the Naughty by Nature beanies with the tie on it.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Tretch.
Shout out to Tretch and Naughty by Nature. So what we used to do stuff like, we not just the chin people, we did also midgets, right? So little people. So we would stick our arms in the jacket, have a big enough jacket to where it looked real, like we was little,
Yeah.
And we would do G-Thang and over exaggerate the movements, like, just like, or we would sing, we would pretend to do we would do Shy, like we would lip sync Shy, like, stuff like that, Secret Garden, so all this stuff that, or do dance routines, all this stuff. I remember one time we did 95 South, and my partner, he played me on this. It was he was like, we got all these hospital, he was like, we got a couple of these hospital gowns, he was like, let's make fun of this bounce music,
Yeah.
So I had on some hospital shorts and a gown. We both did hospital shorts and a gown. And he played me because he started the video. We doing the what song was it? It wasn't Whoop There It Is. It was something else. It was another song, but we dance and he leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not looking at the camera, so it looked like I'm going in, right? But saying all that to say, I'm just showing you how creative I've always been my whole life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So you don't need to just hone in on one thing to just
no. And I don't need to lie. I don't need to lie on them. And so even with me saying all of this, I'm saying all of this because all I want is to get proper respect and get acknowledged for the work that I did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want my publishing. I want all my mechanicals. I'm the one who I deserve a gold and a platinum album. Had she included me, that album would not have seemed like an anomaly. Okay. And because even now, if she did right by me, we could go back in the studio and do it's business.
Right.
It's not personal, it's business. I know, just like Q-Tip said, about the record industry, it's shady.
Yeah, facts.
I know how it go down. People get stolen from all day long. I met a dude up in Cleveland who said that he was the dude who basically gave Al Green his style. He stole it from him. And then he sung in front of me, you know, I gave him the money so he could go buy himself another 40 ounce. I was like,
like, you know what? Here you go, man. You got it, man. You got it.
You proved it to me. You ain't, you know. Plus, I know how that feel. I know I've been there. I've done that. I've been through it. So, you know, and you don't know what that's like to hear your music on the radio and all of that, and then you not being acknowledged.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, I feel like that's like a lot of a high percentage of the industry. It's like a lot of the people that are actually in the industry are people who came in to do their thing, but ended up just being either songwriters or just pretty much selling their catalog, you know, to somebody else that they made a star.
Well,
all right, we on. So what you're saying is pretty much is, you know, you want your just due, you know, for the intellectual property, the creativity, you know. And you've been saying, you know, giving the receipts this whole time from the very beginning of, you know, how this all came to be, you know, how it all took place and how you even said this and spoke about this to the people in Youngstown before you even left, you know what I mean? So I can see the connection and the pattern and you know, in the whole story itself.
Right. You know, because like, I can remember when I went down to Dallas after we had done the recording of the video, right?
Yeah.
And the dude, there was a guy that had helped produce at Gibbs Studio, who's a distant relative of mine, a guy named John Gibbs. If you go look on her first CD, Baduism, you see the studio that it was recorded at. One of them is Gibbs Studio. So it's a couple of the songs recorded at Gibbs Studio.
Yeah.
One of the guys that helped produce the album, a couple of songs on the album, was a dude named Ty from Dallas. He played upright bass on Fantasy People. And he also produced, I think, 2 other songs on the album. But he was the one that assured me, like, she gonna love this shit. Like, she gonna love this material, you know?
Yeah.
So check it out. Remember when I had came up there and I had produced that one, I had produced the information track. I did information with I did information with Evil Lee from the Villains.
Yeah.
Youngstown. And then the one song that I did with you at your studio.
Right.
What you call it? The one
Awakening.
that go on. They want to kill you or scare you to death.
Awakening.
I'll be waiting for the Awake and then Evolution and that one. Okay.
Right.
He heard those songs and told me, he was like, you doing something that's not being done, like it ain't being done like this, like that's your own, you got your own lane.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And so I mean, like, bro, we all had hung out for the weekend for about a week or so. The lady that the chick that had recorded it, Kelly, we spent like a week at her mother's house in Dallas over on Jupiter Street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jupiter Lane or Jupiter Court, one of them two. And so it's kind of like, you know, I ain't heard nothing from nobody. Ain't nobody contacted me, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, here's the thing. I went into a deep depression behind that whole thing because, you know, it's like being raped.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You turn around and you listening to the radio, your music come on, and you know that's your shit, and somebody else is singing it and getting paid and taking credit for your stuff.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
Diana Ross didn't write all her material. It's Whitney Houston either. And they still made music, still made millions off the music that they didn't have anything to do with the publishing or anything like that, you know.
Right.
And I'm sorry, you know, right is right and wrong is wrong, you know.
Right.
I got children to feed too, you know,
Absolutely.
and you know, I just feel like it's people like that the reason why the world is the way it is right now, you know, because
Yes.
you got folks running around here pretending to be so spiritual and this, that, and the third, but yet, you know, you you stealing from people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you I
Right. Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like what come to mind is like hearing Pretty Tony off of the Mac going, you know, telling Goldie, you a car thief, you know,
Right.
and in a certain sense, you know, you can say what you want to say, they can say what they want to say. I don't care who they are, you know, when you take art from somebody else and you present it as if it's your own, it's thievery.
It is. Yeah.
I'm saying, and see,
Uh-huh.
I didn't. What's crazy is not only do I don't deserve that, but man, I look, I'm still her fan. I'm still a fan of her.
Right.
Despite what she done to me, I'm still willing to work with her. I'm still willing to hold, you know, put something together that's even hotter than that material. She don't even know what she really had, what she could have really had she. We could have been like the damn Ashford and Simpson of hip hop,
Right.
Neo
Right.
soul, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You know, um, that whole the way all that went down, you know, just it's all wrong, you know. You got people like um no different than like Craig Mack, rest in peace Craig Mack, you know,
Yeah. Rest in peace, Greg
to the
Mack.
point where
Sure.
you got to actually you got to actually hire gunmen to make sure you getting yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't supposed to be like that. You
No, it's
know,
not,
I was
But that's
already
how we
giving
get
you
it. That's how we got the Suge Knights of the world,
I was
So
look, I mean, it's like this. It's like somebody giving you a car. You ain't gonna give me a ride and I gave you a car.
right.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and you know
saying?
what? And there's so many credits involved. When you look at how even back in the day, how we used to read the covers of the albums, read the inserts, credits and credits and credits and shout outs, and it's like, there's plenty of room, man. There was plenty of
There's
room
plenty of room. There's
to
plenty of
add
room.
me in.
You
Right,
know,
right,
I mean, and so that's my thing. You know, like so I even went as far as to um I like I even went as far as to try to contact her on her Instagram.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I sent her, and I mean, I could show it to you. I could pull up the what I sent her on
Sure.
Instagram. You know,
Yeah.
because
She'll be getting tagged with the clip.
but
Trust
I
me.
mean, you know, that's
Yeah,
that's my that's my thing. It's like right now, I can pull up tracks right now that sound just like that production from that time period.
right.
Because that's not the only style of production I do.
At
That's not
all.
the
Oh
only
no,
genre of production that I make. You know what I'm
no, it's
saying?
not. I know that for a fact.
So it's like, no different than Dr. Dre or Teddy Riley or Pharrell. Like, I could be one of the great producers out here in the world, just like like a lot of these guys. You know,
Absolutely. Oh yeah,
um,
you should be. You should be.
yeah, yeah. And that's no
Fact.
question and no doubt. I don't doubt it not one bit. I can take an artist and mold an artist and create an artist because I am one.
Right.
You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? I know what it takes. I know what I look. People don't want to. One of the things that disappoints me about the current state of music is that everybody fucking sound the same now. Everybody using the same rap cadences and that
Yep.
shit gets boring, man. You get tired of hearing everybody sounding the same.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right. Because these labels, man, these labels, they got they want to just go. They don't want to invest in nothing that they don't, you know, that's unusual anymore. It used to be the labels didn't want. They wanted to find the rare act, the strange person,
Right.
the strange artist. Now it's like whatever they know is going to win is what they put the money on.
It's all cookie cutter music now. You know, it's like fight it. So let me
right, right.
But you know, these dudes are scared to be themselves. Like,
They
you
are.
know, even right now, I'm not gonna put nothing out that's gonna sound like everybody else.
No.
You know what I'm saying? My shit's gonna be unique. I come from a time period where the hardest shit was to not sound like nothing that's out there already.
Yeah, you couldn't sound like
you know what I'm saying?
That's when they would tear you up. They'd be looking for you to sound like someone, so you had to be different.
Now because okay, hip hop was built off of sampling, but MCs had their own swag. They had their own swag. Rakim don't sound like Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane don't sound like Heavy D. Now everybody using the same rap cadences and everything. Like even in rap battles, all these niggas saying the same. Pull out the kick cat. You know, it's you know, it's the same shit. It's the same shit over and over and over, and that's not creativity.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
It's not.
That's not creativity.
No.
You know.
That's why. That's why your boy. That's why old boy Daylight came in chewing everybody up. He was giving them that galactic rhymes.
Right. And I'm on that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Daylight.
You know?
Shout out to Daylight.
Shout out to Daylight. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, when he had that makeup on and was like dressed up like the wife, I love that. I thought that was the funniest shit in the world. I was like, see, I could deal with this dude. He got some creativity.
No doubt. Yeah. But you're right though, man.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. There are artists out there right now that I cut for, you know, that's in the new school. I mean, so I mean, you know, like of course, you know, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Jadena, what's his name? J Rock, you know.
Yeah, definitely shout out to J Rock for sure.
Yeah, you know, Kevin Gates, you know.
Kevin Gates, definitely.
I like the change that he made, you know, the stuff like that. You know, they're not trying to sound like nobody. Like they you know, you know, it just it is what it is. But so I'm just saying, you know, I wish Kelly would step up forward with the video, stop hiding in the shadows, you know. Give me my just due, give me my just due, give me my publishing, give me mine. You know what I'm saying? Give me mine. You know, because you taking food out of my children's mouth, you know, and you taking food out of my mouth too.
Right. Yeah, and you didn't, and it just didn't by happenstance you were around, or just you were just somebody that was just there. We just gave the whole story of you were there for a reason. You were around everybody for a reason, and this was all part of the plan that you had from the very beginning to become an artist, man. You know, and there were some people who, you know, came in and they used it, man. They used it for their own good, man. You know what I mean? Now it's time to, you know, reconcile.
Yeah, and I wish that could happen because, you know, like I said, I don't know too many people who would be able to settle their differences and then come back into the studio and put out some awesome shit. I mean, man, like you know now. So you know, it's 2021, and that shit go all the way back to like 2005, 2004, you know. And it shouldn't have to take this long for that to be straightened out.
Right. It's got to be.
That's like somebody borrowing your car and then not bringing it back.
Yeah,
You
literally.
know, hey, let me borrow the Lambo for a minute. You know.
Yeah. Right.
And the next time you see him, you know, you be like, hey, where my car at? You know, oh, I had to go park it somewhere, you know.
Right.
When was you gonna tell me?
Yeah.
You know. So
right.
But yeah, man, I mean, I'm willing to even do that. And I got heat. I got more heat, and you know, either with or without anybody else, I'm getting ready to put some more stuff out. So, you know, the thing is like you got a lot of artists out here who've been stolen from, who've been raped and not given. And then, you know, what's crazy is I've literally had people say to me stuff like, you know, well, without that videotape, you know, you ain't gonna never get no, you'll never win in court or nothing like that. You know, I've had people also tell me to blow her up, you know, to do like Jag is doing, you know what I'm saying? But that's not my style.
No.
You know.
Right.
Even with this, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth.
Right.
Now, she can do what she's supposed to do and be honorable, you know, or she can keep walking in dishonor. But I'm not going to stop talking about it just because I'm not the one that's in error.
Right. Exactly. And I feel like even, you know, it could evolve the culture. You know what I mean?
It could.
Let's put it together, and then we could even, you know, even on another level, we could do new things to evolve the music. You know?
Look, it's kind of funny because when I look at now, because of that CD, I look at how many people I've come across who talked about how that CD literally woke them up and changed their life.
Right. Yeah. You know, that's key.
For real.
Definitely. Definitely heard it myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I've you know, last year, this time, I was in New Orleans for Carnival, and it was a group of people who had come down to stay at the Airbnb at my daughter's mom's spot where she was hosting. And I was down there to mask with the Skull and Bone Gang. So
yeah,
they're talking about, they was listening to that album. And when I, you know, explained it to them and everything, and then I pulled out the pictures, and they immediately, as soon as they seen the art, they was like, oh my God, like I feel it. I feel that energy coming off I feel that same vibe. And the brother said something. He said, you always know where the energy signature of the original artist is coming from. You can't deny it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, it's you know, it would be like the world never knowing Andre or Jay Electronica.
Or right, which are ironically linked directly to her too. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It would be like Dr. Dre or the Dungeon Family or the groups that they was part of, taking their material and leaving them out of the picture. Imagine that.
Yeah.
That's basically what they doing to me, and what have they done to me. You know. And I got so much to give for you, my dear.
That's right, man. Yeah, man. You know, that's what it's really about, though, man. It's about, you know, it's really just about the dream, the dream and the journey, the path, you know, the ups and downs, and just the whole experience. It ain't just about the music that she did and how it came out. It's like I said, you put in the blood, sweat, and tears. You live through the journey, and to be right there at almost what it seemed like could have been the beginning of it, the peak of it, where it could really happen, for it to turn out like that. Anybody would be, would feel a certain type of way about it, and especially when people went on to do other things. It's like, hey, there's been plenty of time and plenty of opportunity, to even just open the door. No one ever asked you to change someone's life. Just open the door so I can change my own, because you already changed theirs. You already changed theirs.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just want to get that just due. I want to get justice. It's owed to me, and it's sad because of the way that the law works. It's just that. It's like, even though I am the author and I'm the original creator of it, I got to prove
right
that it's my material because somebody else wasn't honorable enough to give me the master copy, to let me sit at the table when the pie was being divided, when I should have been one handing the pie to the other people.
That's right. Yeah, you should have been slicing it and handing it out.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Straight up. And it's a lesson learned. It's a lesson learned, but also, taken from her own words, she let the music industry compromise her heart and her art.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
First class nigga, you treat me like
in your own words, man.
I'm a first class nigga, but you treat me like I'm Pope.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's the,
and they've all experienced you on different levels too, of the music side and the spiritual side, the music side, the poetic side, so the people who are involved in this whole thing, they know what you're about, they know what kind of guy you are, and they know what type of time you're on, you know what I mean? And it's just time to respect it. It's time to get to respect it, seriously.
And it's like she said, it's funny because, she said, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Uh-huh. Right.
So am I. Especially, I mean, bro, you don't even understand. And when I say this, and I'm not saying this to sound like I'm whining or crying, because I still walk with my head up high,
every day, all day. Yeah.
If you only knew in my lifetime how much art has been stolen from me and other people tried to claim it, it'll make your head swim.
Yeah.
To the point where it almost, if I had a different kind of mindset, it would almost make you be like, am I cursed?
Right. Yeah.
But
we're talking about more than just inspiration.
Yeah.
We're talking about you biting the style. You biting.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they would have said back in the day, right? Back in the day.
Yeah, to use an older term, yeah, but yeah.
Back in the day, you like if you come out sounding like somebody else back in the day, you biting my style.
Yeah.
That was considered disrespect.
Yeah, it's a violation every time.
You know what I'm saying? And now that's what they do. Look, you go through the period. I remember when rapping fast was funny. to people. It was a funny style. Like, you didn't rap fast. I remember when Twista first came out, and when shout out to Twista. I remember when he first came out, you know, he was a anomaly. It was him and Jazzo. Shout out to Jazzo.
Yeah.
He was an anomaly. They was anomalies, you know. Twista was the world record holder. He in Guinness Book of World Records is the fastest rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Dr. Twista, for sure.
You know, I mean, come on, man. Like, so, you know, and you know what? I want to say something else too. Shout out to Bone Thugs.
Absolutely.
Because when they came out, me and my partner just knew we was gonna get on.
Yeah.
They was from Cleveland and we from Youngstown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And through 6 degrees of separation, I've almost met Bone. On 2 different occasions.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I'm ready to get back out here and really keep doing it.
Right.
There's a lot that still has, it's so much material and things that haven't been touched on artistically, creatively, you know.
Facts. And there's plenty wind left in the sails, plenty more creativity to come. And you already playing, you know, before we, you know, in pre-production, we were listening to some other tracks and different things, man. The heat is definitely there. The talent is just as good as it was, even better. I mean, it's just, I mean, you're definitely prepared and ready. I feel like it's also time, man, to get back in the game, man, and go strong. Definitely, man. You know,
I mean, you
but
know,
also,
like,
man, to get the credit as credit is due, man.
I give you something right now.
Yeah, give us a little flavor. EyeGod TV.
Just a little snippet.
Yeah, man.
And that's from that same kind of vibe of way back then. You know what I'm saying? That's why I purposefully played it.
Absolutely. It was the same exact energy, same type of energy from at that same exact time, man. That's absolutely right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, for all, I would just say anybody that has had this same situation happen, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't stop. You know, I was watching a thing on Facebook, a clip off of Facebook today, where Martin Luther King was talking about how it's important to keep a healthy and positive, on this speech he was giving, view of yourself.
Right.
And to not give up, no matter how life knock you down. If you can't run, walk. You know.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, but don't keep striving to move forward. You know,
That's
one thing I'm not going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, don't let your own pain stand in your own way, stand in front of you, you know, stop you from where you're going, man, you know, because sometimes, you know, we get so many haters, you know, and we end up hating on ourselves, man. And sometimes because we've been through so much, you know, like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I don't want to do that again. Or I'm too old or just anything, you know, it's like, sometimes you got to get out of your own way, you know what I mean?
Well, that's a whole nother thing too, you know. Hip hop is the only genre where people are arrogant and ignorant enough to say you know, only the young boys can do this. Only young people can do this. This hip hop is dealing with poetry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't tell Maya Angelou that. You wouldn't have told her that. Rest in peace, Maya. You wouldn't have told her that.
Definitely rest in peace, Maya Angelou, for sure.
I mean, to me, it's the same thing. You know, it don't matter what
It's
age
the exact
you are.
same thing.
Good art is good art.
That's right. And they don't do it, like you said, they don't do it in any other genre, man. You see all these dudes still on tour, all these rock and roll dudes barely can sing anymore. They still out there moving around.
Look, you can come out a country singer, you can be 8 years old, you can be 88 years old. Country will, if it's good country music, they embrace you.
They do.
If it's good rock and roll, they embrace you. If it's good heavy metal, they embrace you. If it's good R&B, they don't care.
Right.
But when it comes to hip hop,
is it the connection to the streets, you think? Because they say the streets always do.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I think it's not really hip hop. I think it's really a rap mentality. Because it's a difference between hip hop and rap.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, we know hip hop it originate from the ciphers.
Right.
It originate from one person beatboxing and like I remember being at down in Eatonton, Georgia at the Dr. York's camp when this was 97. And literally I was beatboxing for like 30, 40 MCs by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was calling me the Iron Lung.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, that's going, all right, because we've been in this session.
Well, listen,
3 MCs.
I played, to me, it ain't nothing but playing tuba.
Yeah.
Plus, I've been doing it so long, you know, and it's just in me like that. So,
right. I know what you're saying, man. I used to do a little beatboxing myself when we first started rhyming and shit, man. And you had to be long-winded, man, to be in them ciphers, man. Because we going.
Oh yeah.
Other dudes that can break in every now and then, you know.
Yup. Yeah, man. So, I mean, you know, and I'm sure that's on a videotape somewhere too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's on a videotape somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, man, I mean, you know, it's just, to me, it seemed like at this point in time in the industry, what all was being put out there, I think, just like Rakim said it, he said the music is advanced a great deal, but a lot of the lyricism is straggled, you know. It's being, to me, it's being strangled, because it's like, if you don't rap in these kind of certain parameters or this way, you know, and it's corny to me. It's just
they ain't cutting no checks. They don't want to cut you. They don't want to cut you a check unless you're doing it a certain way. Like what's working right now.
Because
that's why everyone's going that way.
It's kind of like you know, making love. You got that same.
Yeah.
That same 1-2 punch. You know, she gonna get bored after a while.
Yeah, I'll just say, yeah, she out. She out in a minute. Yeah. And you know what? That's the same thing that's happening to all these new rappers and all that too. They get a little bit of money for a year or two, maybe, and then you don't hear from them again. Then they have no money or anything like that. So
that's the other side of it too. The love ain't the way it used to be either. Like you said, like I you know, to me, like at the end of the Wu-Tang Clan's first CD, Method Man said it best to me when he said, you know, we ain't trying to be like these groups who trying to be in it for like a year or two and then we hop on out of it. Like,
right,
we in it for the longevity, you know.
Exactly.
And you know, I am hip, man. You know, like I said, I've been doing this shit since grade school.
That's right.
It's not going nowhere, you know.
No.
Yeah, man. You know.
And that's why we're here, man. That's why we're here today, man, on this first joint, man, to let the world know that that's the story and that's how things went, you know, and that was your first taste of the game and the industry and how things work, you know, and it's definitely not over. The saga definitely continues, you know, and there's going to be more and more content, visual, audio coming, you know, coming immediately and coming very, very soon. You know, we want to get the world prepared, and some of the people who you have dealt with, they need to make amends, and you let it be known loud and clear that once amends are made, you know, things can happen and things can continue on, man, continue to evolve the game, you know, and that's powerful too, man, because a lot of people just want to be gruntle and try to run around with the angry clout, the anger, man, and you ain't about that, man. It's about, yeah, this is what happened. We all know what happened. Let's acknowledge it, and then let's open up the door so we can get the game going, you know. And well, I respect
that's like, okay, no different than I was on YouTube, and I saw Spinderella, and she telling her story, and shout out to Spin, and I'm, you know, it's heartbreaking to hear because she was a monumental part of that
group,
brand.
yeah. Facts,
you know?
Facts.
And it's kind of like, you know, she had her part in it, but you know, for me, I'm the author of that whole concept. Like that concept wouldn't even exist if it didn't come out my mind.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's your seed, that's your baby, man, you know, and you were there to nurture it, you know, and at the same time, they kind of just, you know, took it from the hospital, switched up the children from the hospital and took that baby, sent you with the other one.
It's so crazy because out of that videotape, some major shifts in the music game happened that all came from me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and you know, so it's kind of like that's what keeps me pushing forward now.
Right. Yeah. Using this inspiration as the fuel, man, to keep it going.
Absolutely.
And the stuff you got, I've heard plenty of heat just in a little bit we heard earlier, and you know, I'm here for it. I'm here for it all, man. You know, and I'm ready for it. I know what you're capable of, and I just want to support it on every level in any way possible that I can. You know, because we've been solid from day one. It's gonna stay exactly like that. You know, and it's time to let these fools know what time it is in the game too. You know, and they better go ahead and give us our spot now. And definitely, you deserve your spot, man. And you played your dues in the game. And you definitely, that's only one layer of the onion, man. You know what we're giving them today, man. It's gonna be plenty more for them to find out about you. And when they get into that, they're gonna see what that picture behind you really is all about. You know, it goes way deeper than just a debut album. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And, right, man. And we're gonna let them know that, man. And we're gonna let them know this is the first of many. And just to buckle their seatbelts, man, and get ready for the ride, man. And when we come out on the other side, they'll find out very soon, man. You know, and look, man, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for taking the time and to give your story, not only to give the story, man, but to go back through it, man, you know, to relive it too. I know that's something else too, man, but you know, it's also relieving to get it out there and put it out there, man, you know, into the universe. You know what I mean? And get your just dues back, man. You know?
You know, once you take the thorn out, the healing, that's when the healing begins, you know?
Exactly, man. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying, man. And, you know, I know it's going to happen, man. I know, especially with this platform and just who you are personally, man, the elevation is there and it's here now, man, you know, and I'm right here to help support it any way that I can. I want to thank you again, man, for bringing it out, man, and bringing out the story. And we're going to continue on, man, and we're going to keep recording. We're going to keep putting out the content, man, and we're going to keep bumping, man, you know?
Well, I appreciate it. You just don't know, man, for giving me this opportunity to actually tell my story, to give the opportunity to present myself, you know, the way that I want to be seen, the way that I want to be felt, you know,
right.
which is genuine. You know,
exactly.
Because, you know, you got like you know, just to touch base. So, because I have been trying to reach. I've been trying to reach out to her. I've been trying to reach out. I had no way of getting in touch with Donald, so
Right.
there's no way that I could contact him. But over in like December, I had reached out to the same person who was interviewing Jag, and they would, you know, they was contacting me to see about, you know, interviewing me, and in the process of all of that, Jag went off and started, you know, and so I got lost in the sauce.
Right, right. Yeah.
Of the sensitivity of the material. And so it kind of made me wonder, like, hey, you know, did I get shut down because it's touching on them same topics? You know,
right. Striking a nerve,
but my thing would be this, you know, no different than when you, like, when you were a child and your parent catch you in the middle of doing some shit you ain't got no business. You know, the only way you get out of it or to deal with the karma of it is to own up to it.
That's right. You have to, man. You have to.
Own up to it and cough it up. You know what I'm saying? Give it up. Right. Like James Brown say, give it up and turn it loose.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Because if we so-called as spiritual as we claim to be, you already know karma is a biatch.
That's a fact.
In the immortal words of Snoop Dogg.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact, you know. And, you know, people just want what's theirs, man, so they can go on with their life and take their life to where they're ready to take it, and where it should have been at one point in time, and even further right now at this moment, man, you know. And just where the journey starts here, man, and we're going to make sure that definitely happens, man, you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Man. And we want to, you know, shout out to the Galactic family, you know what I mean, live from planet Earth. We back here with Tamu, Father Time, my man, right hand, solid from day one.
And you know what, too, bro? I just want to say this, man.
Yeah.
You know, I really appreciate the loyalty, and the love, because you decided to take it upon your own self to create a platform and a venue, because you saw the pain I was in. Mm-hmm. And you saw how it had affected me as an artist, and you like, come on, big bro. Like, right. You know, you're not just my big brother, you're not just my friend, you my big brother, and you my teacher.
That's right.
You're a guide. You give me, you know, you giving me so many jewels and help to raise me up. And that's what it's all about, you know. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about. Each one teach one, you know.
Exactly. It's definitely homage, definitely paying homage, man, you know. And that's what they could have easily did. They could have easily did the same exact thing, man, you know. Receive the gifts, and then you give back from the gifts that you have received, man, you know. Yeah. And they should know these things. They should know these things.
Jealousy, envy, greed, sloth, just some of the 7 deadly sins, right?
That's right. That's right.
And they eventually will kill you, because, as we know, certain things plague you until you write it.
That's right. That's right. Some things you just have to make right.
Until you write it, Eryka. So.
That's right, man. That's right. That's right, man. And we signing off right here, man. We're going to leave it at that time to the next episode, man. In the words of my man Snoop Dogg, brother. For real, man. I appreciate everything once again, man. You enjoy the rest of your evening, man. And we'll be right back touching base with you very soon, brother. I appreciate you for everything, man.
All right. I just want to say shout out to my babies. Shout out to Kemet. Shout out to Prince. Shout out to Ricky, to Zora, and to Akiba.
That's peace, man. Hey, give us your social media. What's your Instagram, brother? Before we sign off.
On Instagram, I am 1080. I am 1080 Worldsmith. On Facebook, I am on. You can find me as Jawan Gibbs L. Hold on one second. And it's 1080 it's 1080 underscore Worldsmith.
Okay.
On Instagram. That's
okay.
what I am on Instagram. Yep.
Hey, so everybody, you got the tags. Hit my man's up if you need production. If you want to politic, you need beats, you want to do lyrics, features, anything, you hit my man's up. He'll definitely get back at you. And we're just gonna keep the movement going, man. And this is it,
My
man.
email, my email is the number 1080.
Uh-huh.
My email is the number 1080 verse VERSE at gmail.com. If y'all want to send me donations, I'm on Cash App as money sign the number 1080 cash.
Yeah, definitely support the movement, y'all. Definitely support the movement. I definitely support it 100%. And it's definitely going to be put to a good cause. Trust and believe that, man, on every single level, on every level of things, man. You know, I want to thank you again, Ty. You know what I mean? Everybody shout out to Tamu. It's your boy, Born Bill Universal, EyeGod TV. We out.
Black man, get your money, get your money, get your money.